Good morning. Today we are going to discuss about object-oriented programming, very important topic. So in this particular topic, we are going to discuss what is object-oriented programming, and after that we discuss the difference between procedural versus object-oriented programming and object-oriented programming concepts. Then we discuss about some concepts of object classes in later part. Then we discuss about UML class diagram and these topics. So, first of all, come to what is so our life is completely covered with the set of objects. For example, every day we deal with flights, stars, and your tablet phone, and persons, cars, rackets. So everything, be a small bird or some planet. So everything is a object. So our life is composed of the objects only. So object nothing but a real world entity. In the real world, a physical, whatever the physical entity you see in the real life, that particular physical entity is called as an object. So basically, for example, what is OOP? That means object oriented programming. So what is meant by object oriented programming is, before that we need to know about the which are objects which are available in our life. For example, if you take chairs, table, what are the classroom, what are the objects we're having chairs, tables, teacher, personal computers. Like that we have several objects are there. And for example, if you take a chair as one object, it's having some properties like it is having the number of legs and type of material. It may be plastic table or may wooden table. It may contain color, or what is the height of the table, what is the size of the table, and so like whether it is having a desk, like there is some. So these are the properties. Every object is having some of the properties. So, what is OOP? Objective programming involves basically programming using objects. So, simply what is meant by object-oriented programming is if you write a program by using objects, it's called as the object-oriented programming. So, what is an object? Just we discuss. The object represents an entity in the real world that can be distinctly identified. For example, in the distinctly, for example, if you are having classroom, we have distinct objects, a personal computer, board, chalk piece, duster. So these are all the objects. For example, in a student desks, a circle, a button, and even a loan can be viewed as a objects. So any object should have a unique identity and it is having some state and some should have some behavior. So if you take a student, for example, every student is having roll number, it is his identity. State, for example, is listening a class, he is running, he is walking, his state, and it is having some behaviors. He is continuously talking, he is doing the several things. So, what are the differences between procedural versus object-oriented programming? So, first of all, what is meant by procedural programming is, for example, if you write in a function, if writing a program in terms of function, that is called as procedural programming. Procedural programming concentrates on creating functions only. So next one is procedural programming separates the data of the program from the operations that manipulate the data. Procedural programming separates the data from the program. So there is no relation between the data and program in procedural oriented programming. So the operation, the whatever the program we written, it directly affect the data. But in terms of object-oriented programming, the unit in the object-oriented programming is nothing but a class. A class is the unit here. And object-oriented programming starts from isolating the classes and then look for the methods inside. So here the object programming isolates the classes and we will look for the methods. We write the methods inside the classes. And next, object programming focus on both of them. So here we focus on the both the data and also in terms of the operations. Focus is so operations cannot directly affect the data. Data can be influenced more on the operations. So according to the data modifiers, we need to write the programs. So in terms of object programming, data is having more security. In object programming, data is more security. How we are going to achieve data security and how we are going to achieve data privacy, these are things we will come and discuss next day. So data privacy, data security is less in procedural programming, but whereas in terms of object programming, data privacy is more. So basically, in a procedural programming, if you have a client and server, what is going to communicate between the client and server is packets are going to be transmitted. But in terms of object-oriented programming between client and server, what is communicated is objects are going to be transmitted between client to the server. So basically, object-oriented, if you want to understand what is meant by object-oriented programming, we need to aware of the four important pillars. The four pillars of object-oriented programming is, first one is abstraction, second one is encapsulation, and third one is inheritance, and fourth one is for polymorphism. So these four pillars act as the main pillars of the object-oriented programming. So we can achieve abstraction by using some features like abstract class, abstract method, and interface. And we are going to achieve encapsulation by using some of the modifiers like a default. So we will discuss default, public, private, protected. So we will discuss elaborately about these topics in the coming classes. But before that, encapsulation will be achieved by using these kind of concepts. And inheritance, we will going to achieve the inheritance by using single and multi-level inheritance concepts. And polymorphism we are going to achieve by using method overriding and method overloading. By using these two concepts, and we can going to achieve the polymorphism. So we will discuss elaborately in the coming classes. In the unit 2, unit 3, we have so many concepts are there about these all topics. So before that, fundamentally we know the little bit information about what is meant by abstraction. What is meant by abstraction is simplifying the complex reality by modeling classes appropriate to the problem. What is that simply? So what is nothing but whatever the complexity is there, so that complexity will not be visible to the user. We will simplify it and we give some simple method or simple interface for the user. That is nothing but the abstraction. So what is abstraction is all about is hiding the internal data. So a complex mechanism hidden, we will give a simple interface for that particular complex mechanism. So abstraction is a mechanism to show only relevant data to the user. Whatever is the relevant. For example, I will show the example in the next coming diagram, then you can understand. So the client cares about what is the functionality of core offers, not about how that functionality is implemented. Very simply, what is abstraction is, if you are pressing on a brake in a car, what is happening? The car will stop. So it doesn't bother about how that particular car brakes are applied and what kind of mechanism is there, what is meant by ABS braking system. This function nothing is required. Just to what is the functionality of the user, what user expecting is he will press on the brake, then automatically car is need to be stopped. That is only his requirement. Other than that, what is the internal mechanism and what kind of bushes you are using, what kind of the mechanical components you are using internally to stop the car at that much of fast. So what is our ABS braking system? These are all the concepts which are not at all relevant to the user. So what is abstraction is just to providing whatever it is necessary for the user. For example, see this particular ATM machine. In the ATM machine, what is the functionality of the user? You just go to the ATM machine and he will enter the debit card and he will withdraw money. But he doesn't bother about how that particular ATM card details are read by the machine, how it is verifying his account details, how it goes, and how the money is lifted, so these kind of what are the background functionality or background operations which are happening inside, which are not at all relevant for the user. What is his requirement is, he just put his debit card, he will enter a pin number, he withdraw the money. That is only simple. So that is nothing but the abstraction. So complex problems can be easily solved by using abstraction, by showing very simple, by showing relevant information to the user. That is nothing but the abstraction. So here the user functionality just perform withdrawal and money transfer and retrieve many statement, but he doesn't bother about how exactly the printer machine is working, how that page is coming out. These all internal details he doesn't bother. That is the, so here also We are getting a phone call, and what is the user expectation? He just click on the green button, then automatically he need to talk with the user. Other than that, how the call is lifted, when the person is called to him, how the phone connection is happening, how the audio is recognized, and how the audio is transmitted, this all the information is nothing related to the phone user. The customer who are using the phone, he just once he call get the incoming call, he will click on that particular green button. He will just click on the green button, then automatically the call will be lifted. He will talk with the person, but he is nothing bothered about whether the particular we are using some kind of CDMA technology, or we are using some FDMA technology, or we are using some GSM, or using 3G or 4G, 2G. What kind of technology we are using? How the audio is converted? How the information is transmitted between this phone, that phone? Whether it is a wireless mode or wired mode, satellite is used. This all the information is nothing relevant to the user. So here what is the abstraction is simply is all these complex features are hidden. Just the user is provided a simple interface. The user is provided a simple, he just lift the call and talk to the person. So that is nothing but the abstraction. I think you are understand about what is meant by abstraction, showing the only relevant information to the user and hiding the all unnecessary information. So next topic is encapsulation. So what is encapsulation is, this encapsulation allows the programmers to group the data and the methods. So if we are already know that every whatever the programs we are having, program is composed of two parts. So every program is composed of two parts. One is data and second one is the methods. Every program contains the two components. The basic unit of any program is data. So the what is meant by encapsulation is, encapsulation will make this data plus methods combined together. That is nothing but the encapsulation, and these all can be in one place. The data methods will be one place and hide the details. So the internal is what are the code inside that particular, whatever the data is there, and the methods will be hidden from the user. So that is the requirement of the encapsulation. So see here. So here we are having the things. For example, here we are having account number. Here we are having the account number, account value, name and address. And what is the functionality we are providing? The person can be deposit the money, he can withdraw the money, he can transfer the money to another account, or he can print his statement. So he only can perform an operation called as withdraw anywhere. For example, if anyone tries to change the address, it is not possible. Why? Because there is no functionality changing the address. So this is how the security will be hidden. So whatever the internal address, it is not visible to the anyone. Why? Because the address visibility functionality is provided. Only the customer can perform four operations, that is a deposit, withdraw, transfer and print. So here what are the data? Your account number is a data, account value, name, address is the data, and your methods are deposit, withdraw, transfer, print. So these all data and methods are combined together and providing some kind of functionality, and your information is also hidden. So this is how the encapsulation will be work out. And also, what are the benefits of encapsulation? The first one, it will protect the integrity. So what is integrity? The unauthorized users cannot change the data. Whatever the data is there that cannot be manipulated by the unauthorized users, then automatically we can achieve that nothing but integrity. Second advantage of encapsulation is protects an object from unwanted access by the client. This is what we discussed. So no other, only the valid users can be used, the others cannot be accessed. And third one, so that is in a bank, forbids a client to change an account balance. So he cannot directly change the account balance. By performing an operation, he will deposit the money. Balance will be incremented by the internal software. If you withdraw, automatic money will be. So he cannot automatically increase the account balance. So always you to change the class. So allows you to change the class implementation. So this with the help of this encapsulation, we can implement that particular class. Changes will be done. So allows you to constrain the object state. So that is next one is what is the encapsulation is doing here is, here you are inside a class, the methods and variables will be combined together. So see here how the protection is there. So here the outside some outside program is that they cannot directly access your variables and methods. Your private variables and private method cannot be accessed outside code. Compulsory you need to, the class is providing some interfaces with the help of the public methods and automatic. So outside code will access only public methods and public instance variables only. If you want to secure data, just make them as your private data. Private data can be directly cannot access the with the outside code, then automatically we can achieve the security. I think you understand. So outsiders cannot access the your private information. Whatever the information you want to hide from the user, just make them as private. No other can. So elaborately about this particular private and public, we will discuss at the time of discussing inheritance, and also there is a topic called as access modifiers. At that time, I will clearly show how we can make a method as a private method, how we can make a variable as a private variable, how the method can be declared as public. So these things we will discuss later. So, but what is encapsulation is our grouping the data and method together. For that, with the help of that, we are achieving the security. And what is meant by inheritance, which is also very important feature in terms of the Java programming. So, inheritance achieves the reusability concepts. So, the ability of creating, what is reusability? The ability of creating a new class from the existing one, that is reusability. So for example, if you already created some class, it contains some data and methods. So that class is again you have a requirement, then need not write again that particular class. Simply we can inherit that particular another class by using a feature called as the inheritance. So see here, I have a one particular main person called a student. The student is also having, student is attending the school, and the school may be primary and secondary. The student may be, so thing, and he may study is BCA or diploma, but he is only student itself. So from the student class, I created a subclass called as colleague class, and create another class called as the school. So the properties of student can be inherited to the school and also inherited to the colleague also. The particular thing can be also inherited to the BCs and diploma also. So he see here. Here I have a base class, that is here I have a line diagram, and it is a line, and is have a cub. So this particular, so telling that, so whatever the cub is there, cub is deriving the properties of the parent line. So the all the properties of the parent line can be inherited by the cub. So here my cub is nothing but my derived class, and my parent line nothing but my base class. So base class properties are derived to the my cub. So that is nothing but inheritance. Getting the properties from the parent to the child is nothing but inheritance. So what is meant by polymorphism? So simply if you want to tell what is meant by polymorphism is one thing in many forms. One thing in the many forms. So here see this. I have a class called as, some class called as animal. So animal is having a speak method. The same method we are using in the dog class also, and we are also using same speak method in the speak name in the cat class also. So here I am reusing it. So rather than having a specific functionality, the same functionality or same methods will be reused. That is nothing but the polymorphism. See particular diagram. So famous cartoon thing is here, that is a Ben 10. In the Ben 10 the person is same, but according to requirement he may take any kind of perception. So the person is same, but according to requirement he is changing his roles. So that is nothing but the polymorphism. The same thing, but is having the many forms according to the position and requirement and situation. He may change to any kind of role. Person is same person. According to situation, either particular thing object may work with the different things. So this also see this particular so see here, I have a person. The same person, the person have different roles. In shopping mall, he will like a customer. In buses, he'll behave like a passenger. In school, he behave like a student. And home, he behave like a son. So the same person is acting at the different roles. That is nothing but the polymorphism. So how we are going to achieve the polymorphism when I will explain at the time of inheritance by using method overriding and method overloading, and also runtime polymorphism, or popularly it is called as dynamic binding. With the help of those concepts, I will clearly explain you what is meant by polymorphism. So meanwhile, for the next upcoming class, you have to complete these all assignments. So thank you very much. So complete these assignments before coming to the next session. Thank you very much.